They say, be open, be transparent, let people see the real you. But the truth is, every time you let them see the real you give them something they can use. The world doesn't reward honesty. It studies it. It measures it. It learns how to bend it. Your openness becomes data. Your pain becomes a file in someone's mind, labeled, how to control you. People don't just listen, they observe. They memorize your tone, your triggers, your pauses. They collect the pieces of your soul until they know how to rearrange you. Machiavelli never told you to be honest with everyone. He told you to be strategic, to reveal only what keeps you powerful, and to hide what makes you predictable. In a world built on perception, what you hide is more valuable than what you show. What you share becomes a tool. What you keep becomes a weapon. These 5 things, if you ever expose them, will become the handles by which others turn you. Keep them buried, and you'll walk through this world untouched. They tell you, be vulnerable. It's how people connect. But that's a lie. Vulnerability doesn't build connection. It builds maps. And maps show where you can be invaded. People don't study your pain to understand you. They study it to prepare their next move. They listen not with empathy, but with curiosity. The same curiosity a hunter has for a wounded animal. You tell them what hurt you once, and you've just given them the coordinates of your weakness. They'll never attack you directly. They'll wait. They'll circle. They'll test how much pressure it takes before you flinch again. And when you do, they'll smile because they'll know the blueprint works. Machiavelli once said, "The wise man does at first what the fool does at last." The fool speaks his pain to be understood. The wise man speaks nothing and becomes impossible to read. Your silence is not coldness, it's armor. Your calm is not indifference, it's control. Pain that's spoken is pain surrendered. Pain that's hidden becomes discipline. You owe no one your confessions. You owe no one your tears. Let them believe you've never been touched by fire, while in truth, you forged yourself in it. When they can't name your scars, they can't open your wounds. And when they can't open your wounds, you become invincible. When people ask, who inspires you? It sounds innocent. But that question is a mirror held up to your mind. The moment you name your heroes, you reveal what controls you. The moment you name your fears, you show where to strike. They'll wear the faces you respect. They'll speak in the voices you trust. They'll echo the words that calm you, until you start following them, believing it's guidance when it's manipulation. Admiration feels pure, but it's the easiest doorway to control, because when you admire too loudly, someone will build a throne out of your reverence. And fear is the leash they'll use when admiration doesn't work. They don't need to overpower you. They just need to remind you who terrifies you. Machiavelli once wrote, "Men judge more by the eye than by the hand. All men see what you seem, few know what you are. When they know who you fear, they become it. When they know who you admire, they impersonate it. And suddenly, you're surrounded by illusions, faces that mirror your beliefs, voices that speak in borrowed tones. Learn quietly, study everyone, but worship no one. Let your influences be invisible, absorbed, refined, untraceable. You can walk among giants without ever pointing at them, because the moment you show your roots, someone will start digging. Be the ghost in the lineage of greatness. Let your victories whisper their names, but never confirm them. Because mystery is protection, and imitation is the enemy of originality. Every goal you announce becomes a battlefield you didn't plan to fight on. Every dream you describe too early becomes a magnet for envy and interference. People won't destroy your vision directly. They'll slow it down. They'll distract you with celebration, with opinions, with questions that make you doubt your pace. They don't need to attack the plan. They only need to divide your focus. You tell them your schedule. They know when to interrupt. You tell them your steps. They know where to place obstacles. Machiavelli warned, "He who builds on the people builds on mud." Plans exposed too soon drown in advice, and advice is rarely meant to help you. It's meant to reshape you. The moment your dream becomes public, it stops belonging to you. It belongs to their judgment, their jealousy, their noise. You don't owe them updates while you're still sharpening your sword. Let them think you've vanished. Let them assume you've failed. Because when you return, the silence that preceded you will sound like thunder. Never speak of movement. Show results. Because noise attracts predators. Silence grows power. Every step you take in private multiplies its impact when revealed. Every goal achieved without announcement echoes twice as loud. You don't move to be seen. You move to arrive. Power isn't in the promise of action. It's in the surprise of execution. People remember not what broke you, but what you allowed. Every story of endurance you tell becomes a silent contract. It teaches others how much you're willing to suffer before you act. You think sharing your struggle makes you strong, but the world doesn't see strength. It sees limits. They note how far they can push before you push back. They note the insults you forgave, the betrayals you dismissed, the disrespect you excused. And slowly, you stop being respected. You become measured. Machiavelli once said, "Men forget more easily the death of their father than the loss of their inheritance." People forget kindness, but they never forget advantage. Every time you show them your endurance, they test its edge. You think silence earns peace, but silence without boundaries becomes permission. They start confusing your restraint for weakness, your forgiveness for surrender. That's why the wise never reveal what they've tolerated. Because when people can't trace your history of pain, they assume it doesn't exist. And that assumption protects you. Forgiveness is not a speech, it's a strategy. The strong forgive internally, but never announce it externally. Let them wonder if you've forgotten. Let them question if you've moved on. That uncertainty is your control. When they don't know if you're calm or waiting, they behave. When they don't know if they've been forgiven or studied, they stay cautious. Your silence should make people question their position, not your peace. So, never reveal what you've endured. The more invisible your pain, the more unpredictable your strength. Because the man who hides his scars is the one they fear might have no limit. Desire exposes direction, and direction gives away control. The moment people know what you crave, they stop resisting you and start shaping you. They don't have to block your path. They just have to build a prettier one, a trap disguised as opportunity. They'll offer you comfort dressed as support. They'll offer you validation dressed as loyalty. And slowly, they'll lead you away from the throne you were meant to build. Because manipulation doesn't always hurt. Sometimes it feels like understanding. Machiavelli wrote, "Men are driven by two impulses, love and fear. Once they know what you love, they know what to threaten. Once they know what you fear, they know what to promise. Never let the world see what burns inside you. Let them think you've outgrown desire. Let them assume you've transcended need. Because the man who seems desireless cannot be controlled. You can chase your dreams, but chase them in silence. You can burn for greatness, but burn without smoke. The world respects those who move without noise, the ones whose eyes reveal nothing, whose smiles hide intent, whose calm feels like calculation. You don't have to deny your passion. You just have to hide its shape. Because once people see your hunger, they'll learn how to feed it. And feeding is another form of control. Power is not about having everything. It's about making sure no one knows what everything means to you. The world tells you, speak your truth, show your pain, be transparent. But what they don't tell you is that every truth becomes a tool. Every confession becomes a blueprint. Every emotion becomes leverage. Your pain becomes their weapon. Your admiration becomes their influence. Your plans become their sabotage. Your tolerance becomes their limit. Your desires become their chains. Machiavelli understood something most never will. Power is not noise. Power is silence that watches, silence that calculates, silence that waits. The loud are predictable, the quiet are dangerous. So protect your mind like a fortress. Guard your words like gold. Show less, feel more, speak less, think sharper. Every unanswered question about you is a wall they can't climb. Every silence you hold is a battlefield they can't win. You owe no one your transparency. You owe no one your pain. You owe no one your peace. Be kind, but unreadable. Be humble, but unapproachable. Be still, but terrifyingly aware. You are not here to be understood. You are here to be remembered. Remembered for the calm that hid a storm, for the silence that screamed louder than words, for the mystery that could never be solved, only respected. Machiavelli would tell you this: the lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. Therefore, one must be both, a lion to frighten and a fox to foresee. Be both. Be silent like a fox. Be still like a lion. And above all, never reveal yourself to a world that survives on using what it learns about you. Because when you master silence, you become unreadable. And when you become unreadable, you become untouchable.